So we pick up at age 7 in Baltimore County. And I'm living in this rancher, right? So you walk in and there's a living room, big living room. There's a second living room and then the kitchen off to the right, side door, basement steps, a whole downstairs the length of the house, but back to the top of the house. You go through, make a left, there's a bathroom, then my parents' room, my room, then the office. Downstairs is our laundry, another bathroom, a big like gaming room, and then another back bedroom, and then this long closet. Decent house, you know. My parents were working class people, working middle class. Like they each had a car. We had that house, and then we would go on vacation every year. I went to private schools up until I started middle school, or like maybe my last year of elementary school. Um, my dad was a Baltimore City police officer. My mom, she had been a nurse and banker, and she was in school to get her doctorate. She had been so many different things. But I lived a very sheltered life. Like, honestly, I was like a cornball, for real, for real. I did not know that I was adopted until I was 7, and I was told that on my 7th birthday. So the fact that I went to school and told people that shows you where my mind was at. Like, I had a very childish mind because I was only left with my creativity and myself, basically. I raised myself. My parents were always at work, and they had a schedule where I was always by myself pretty much. Unless I was in a school activity or school, I was always by myself. And I spent that time in my imagination. I spent that time in books, in music, playing myself in chess, playing video games, going outside, climbing trees. Like, I've just always been alone. And when I was around people when I was younger, they were always older. It was always older people. You know, people like scholars, I guess, because my adopted mom always went to college and she would take me because she would work during the day and then take night classes. So I was either by myself or with her after school. And, he worked at night, my adopted father worked at night, so he would sleep all day. And he had like a set schedule. So he would leave work at like 10 at night and he wouldn't come back till like 10 in the morning or something like that. Yeah. And then he would sleep like hardcore sleep. Like I knew I could get into some shenanigans, sleep. And it wasn't the type of job where he's coming home early. Like, no, like, and these are like, they were 49 when they adopted me. So they were from the type of generation where they didn't call out from work. Like, I've legit never seen either one of them call out from work ever. They gave the impression that they were like normal people, tax paying, going on vacation, never calling out from work, going to church every Sunday, 401k having type people. But they had so many secrets. Like, it's crazy how you can appear to be one way to the world and not be that at all. Not be that at all. I never understood why, first of all, they waited till I was 7 years old to tell me that I was adopted. Like, that is insane. 7 whole years. Yo, you waited 7 years. That's 7 birthdays. 7 7 years of looking me dead ass in my face and never once mentioning, hey, we bought you. You're not our child. And it just makes everything weird. It makes everything like I'm so distrustful. Like all the therapy in the world cannot tell me how much that one thing is affecting me. And it's like that's why I'm so committed to healing because I've been through so many traumatic things that nothing else matters outside of healing. I can't move forward in anything else without prioritizing healing first. It always blew my mind how girls in rehab would just go from losing their kids and losing their homes, losing their careers, ending up in rehab, and then hooking up with somebody in rehab, and then getting out and like having babies and stuff. And like everybody did that. So many people did that. And like I see so many people jumping from relationship. And I always have to bring it back. Like you don't even understand. Every single night I dream about the house that I grew up in. Every single night for years. I say about 15 years now. I've had even if the house morphs into something else, I still get called there. It's almost like I experienced so much trauma in this place that I feel like a part of me is still there. But I'm 7, living in Baltimore County in Maryland. I don't know if you know anything about Baltimore, but it's not an easy place to live, not even in the county. There's just an air. I don't know how to describe it. It's just different. Every place I've lived in is different. I've lived in the South. I've lived in Greenville, South Carolina. I have lived in Martinsburg, West Virginia. West Virginia is gorgeous. I'm pretty sure it's the second poorest country in the state, but it's gorgeous out there. A lot of UFO activity in Baltimore. So I was so sheltered. I didn't know anything outside of my imagination and church and school. That was it. That was my life. Because school was my escape. Because I was getting the paws laid on me at home. Like I was labeled as disrespectful because I asked questions. Or because even as a child, you couldn't just get away with saying no stupid shit to me and just like not having me be like, oh, what are you talking about? Because the encyclopedia right here said this. And then it's like, smack, smack, smack. You're disrespectful. How am I disrespectful? Like, you're wrong. Smack, 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 smack. Like, it's not funny. I'm sorry. But it's like, that's how I was raised. So, like, school was my getaway because, first of all, I was good at it. And second of all, that was the only place that I got positive reinforcement was school. So I was always a straight A student, and plus that was like the expectation of my adopted mother of me because she was like a scholar. So like I had to make sure. Oh, hi. Are you adopted parents, baby boomers, or silent generation? Those generations keep a lot of secrets. Oh, okay. Well, Sherry was born in 49. So I don't know. Well, however, whatever it is when you're 49. And yeah, a lot of secrets. And my thing is, I feel like they're protecting their ego or something. Like they don't want to admit that they're wrong. I don't know. I don't know why they do it. Because they don't express themselves enough for anyone to understand them. Like they don't talk about anything. They hide everything. All that to be seen and not heard. Like, how would you be seen and not heard? That doesn't make any sense. And my adopted mom was like going to school for abnormal child psychology. So it's like How can you study the psychology of a child and still treat your children so bad? Children that you bought. Like, why did you get me? Makes no sense. Thank you for your question. I'm new at these lives. Like I didn't even know that people could ask me questions, but I don't know. I thought this was like one of those lives where you pre-record it and then like drop it later and then like whatever. I'll figure it out. It doesn't matter. Me and my imagination in school. Like school was my getaway. And then so yeah, I would go to school and then I would go to like an after school activity. Like I was in the chess clubs, I did African dance one year and like nobody would ever show up when I accomplished things. So like I was it's weird because I was very accomplished but no uncelebrated. I would, get really good grades. I would participate in all these activities. I would get awards for stuff and nobody would ever show up. Like when I say I've been on my own my whole life, I really have, you know. And maybe that's why I'm so like obsessed with my kids because first of all, I don't want them to go through what I went through and I want to be a better parent than people parented me. But, I never want them to go through what I went through. They are the only family that I have, and I want to be good to them. Some people really are never shown kindness in this world. So, school, my imagination. So I would go to school, I would go to my after school activity, and then I would come home. And that would be the time where he would leave for work, and then she would come home from work, and we would go to her school, her night school. So I was always around adults, like really smart people. And even though I didn't know what they were talking about, I would always like whatever they wrote on the board, I would write down. So I've always been around people who valued education. So I'm very grateful to my adopted parents for that. Not so fond of the abuse, but like I am very appreciative that they exposed me to a lot of knowledge or opportunities to obtain knowledge. So the only reason I ever went to college was because of her. And I went 3 different times because I moved a lot. I was just, my life was insane. But yeah. And so that's all that I had in music and that, and writing. Like I would, first of all, always be grounded. So I would always be in the house while everybody was outside playing. So I would always be reading or just writing. And now I have like really great cursive because it's just hours and hours and hours of practicing cursive and copying the encyclopedia and reading a dictionary, like listening to music and envisioning what I wanted. Like music took me away. Music really healed me. It really connected me. It helped me have a connection to God, basically. Like I found God through music, for sure. For sure. I was raised by music and nature, being outside, being with the trees. Like I would find solace in them. Like when everything was hectic in my household, I would run outside to the forest, to nature, to the trees, and I would just ball up in a ball up under them and just cry. And it's crazy the things that I've seen in the forest. It's crazy the things that I've seen when I was in turmoil, when my heart was broken. It was almost like the universe found a way to form itself into something that would catch the attention of a little girl and, give me a little piece of hope, seeing some really interesting things, But we'll get into all of that. I appreciate you spending time with me in Fury World. I will catch you in the next video. Peace.